Well, earlier I did a video about my Letterboxd movies that I have rated higher than average, and now I'm going to do lower than average, meaning these are movies that I have rated on my Letterboxd and I have them rated lower than the average user a Letterboxd does. 6 of these movies I'm looking at are episodes of my podcast, Load Bearing Beams, my movie podcast, where my wife picks a movie or I pick a movie and we review it. And these are a bunch of movies, especially from the early run of our podcast, that I really didn't like. Movies like Now and Then, one of our earliest episodes of the show. The Boondock Saints. This is the favorite movie of every future fascist that you remember from high school. Nacho Libre, which my friend Caleb came on the show as a guest and had us watch and review, and I didn't care for it. I liked Napoleon Dynamite more. Clifford, starring Martin Short. I believe on the episode I said I would prefer to be with Osama bin Laden than with Clifford. Ron Howard's The Grinch, starring Jim Carrey. I think it's a boring piece of shit. I think Jim Carrey is allowed to do whatever he wants, and it's too annoying. Maybe you should bring him in a little. Also, it's a 20-page book turned into a 2-hour movie. Parenthood, another Ron Howard movie. I think I just don't like Ron Howard. A movie that to me is like Ron Howard realized, like, oh, gee whiz, it's tough being a father sometimes, but in the end, it's worth it with my $10 million house. The Hobbit, The Battle of the Five Armies. I give 1 star versus 3.19 stars. I will say this, I've only seen this movie once. It was in the theaters. I didn't like it at all. But I've watched the first 2 Hobbit movies in the past few years. I've watched Peter Jackson's King Kong movie and really liked it. And I'm starting to think if I watch this 3rd Hobbit movie again, I'm going to flat out like it, because I think my attitude, my appreciation for Peter Jackson has just gone up, because I think he's one of the directors who can make CGI dominant blockbusters at huge scales and really handle it. The Great Gatsby, I gave 1 star. This is Baz Luhrmann's The Great Gatsby, starring Leonardo DiCaprio, and this is from the theater when I saw it in 2013. I watched a little bit of it earlier this year to prepare for the Load Bearing Beams episode about Romeo and Juliet, and I certainly liked it a lot more. I think I was just younger and couldn't handle how weird and sort of just non-literal. Like, I've read The Great Gatsby. Why is this being so weird and outrageous? Love Actually is a beloved holiday tradition for so many people and so many families the world over, but not to me. I can't stand it. And the reason is the man who wrote and directed it, Richard Curtis. He usually just writes his movies, but this time he got to direct it. So it's pure uncut Richard Curtis. And when I finally saw this movie, it finally crystallized why I generally don't like his movies. And that's, his ooey gooey, so soft and chewy vibe. It's a little difficult to take, but I think that the thing that annoys me so much about it is that his movies are always about adults who act like big babies. They're adults who get crushes on each other like kindergartners, like crushes on, adults having crushes on other adults who are unencumbered by other relationships and other commitments, but they're still too bloody shy to act on my little crush, my widow crush. So you just get Hugh Grant puttering around. It's like, oh, bother, I'm the prime minister. I have a crush. Oh, bother, in it. I'm such a prime minister, bloody crush. I become like a 1950s dad. I'm like, listen, it's time for you to grow up and take some responsibility for once in your gosh darn life, Hugh Grant. Love Actually is just 25 of these stories, 25 little ideas that Richard Curtis wrote down in his little notebook, but none of them could sustain its own movie. So he threw them all together into a casserole for you to watch, a casserole of 50 people who are all adults and have crushes on each other, but can't do anything about it. And then all year long, I just have the song stuck in my head. I feel it in my fingers. I feel it in my toes. Sing, the 2016 animated children's film from Illumination. I loathed it the first time I saw it. We watched it on like a family movie night, and afterward I was ranting at my wife and my small child about how much I hated the movie, and it's like, it's an excuse to just play lots of songs back to back to back that you like, and they're trying to trick you into thinking you like the movie, but you don't like the movie. You like Call Me Maybe. You don't like the movie. And I still feel that way, but now the movie has evolved because my son watches it every single day and has for years. This movie, it's trying to think of it as a movie, trying to have an opinion of it is like having an opinion about the microwave in my house. Like, it's the microwave. It's part of my house. It's part of the architecture of my house. But because I know it so well, I know things about this movie. Like, I know that the hero Buster Moon, played by Matthew McConaughey, he's Donald Trump. Essentially, he's a little con artist. He doesn't pay his contractors. He lies about his net worth. He lies about how much money he has. He lies about having the prize money to be able to pay out to the winner of this contest that he has. And he's trying to, like, apprentice style, get all these people to come and be colorful and put them on TV, and they'll make money for him. And in the process, he destroys a historic building, and then the public foots the bill and bails him out, and everything's good, and they want you to love him. But I'm not fooled. I'm not fooled. But let me know what you think. I'm sure I'm wrong and you're right. And which movies do you like less than everybody else?